Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the CRC Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. In fact, he is somebody from the city of joy itself, from Calcutta. Christmas is in the air, and we thought this is going to be the best time to actually have him on the podcast and hear his views on vinyl. So, without wasting any time, let's welcome him. Good evening,
Mm.
sir. Thank you for joining us today for the second episode of the CRC podcast. We've been having this conversation over the phone of sitting down one day and talking about all things vinyl. I'm very happy that we got the opportunity today, and I could just catch you in the nick of time. So before we begin, if you could just tell something about yourself and what got you into the entire magic of vinyl.
Okay. Hi everyone, and Ray. So my name is Nilanjan Bhattacharya, and my friends call me Joy. I am. I've been very fortunate to have been born into a musical family. When I say a musical family, I don't mean a family of musicians. I mean a family that loves music. Uh, so I had. Uh, I'm 52 years old, so I'm 71 born. And even then, in 1971, um, my earliest memories are basically of me sitting in our living room, which was a pretty large living room with four huge American speakers on the four corners, and my parents or my uncles playing music on the stereo. We always had a pretty good sound system in the house. And so I had the best of all worlds. My parents have been fond of uh, Indian music, both classical as well as popular music. One uncle has been fond of, and he's pretty much been my encyclopedia on Western classicals and Western classics. Um, my other uncle has been an encyclopedia on classic rock. My mom and dad, of course, have always loved, like I said, Indian music in various forms. And my other uncle has been into Indian and Western instruments. So, like I said, I, I was born with music coming out of my ears. And my earliest memory is, where normally kids get scared of loud music or loud noise. I, on the other hand, used to be a 2 year old running towards the center of the living room on the sofa, climbing onto the sofa because I was too small to, just sit there and staring at the speakers and taking all the music in. And we've always had a turntable in the house. At that time, we had a garage. We had a heavy duty Sansui amplifier, a TX top loading cassette deck, and we even had an Akai spool tape deck. So yeah, and we had music every weekend. The house would be full of music being played, be it classic rock, classicals, Indian music, whatever.
Nice.
So
Lovely,
that's
sir.
been my
Lovely
background.
hearing from you.
I'm so musically inclined, if I may use the term.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. Now, since you said that you were born into music and a 2-year-old you would always run towards any place that had music playing. So you must have heard all forms of music. And by forms, I mean in every form, from the vinyl to the CDs, cassettes, and now in the digital age. And now, with listening to music becoming so very easy, why do you stick to listening to vinyls?
Okay. So, it's like comfort food. For me, my comfort food is literally toast and omelette, or a ham sandwich, or something like that. So for me, I have tried with all kinds of formats, and I have, in fact, pretty much all kinds of formats. The spools I don't have anymore, but among records, cassettes, CDs, mini discs, DATs, digital audio tapes, also, and all of them. I pretty much have had all of them. I've had ROMs, which Casio came out with something called ROM. Okay, I'm talking about the mid 80s, and I've got a few of those too. Pretty much, which you can actually put in your synthesizer, and they become the backup track for you to play on, right? And why I stick to vinyls? See, that's what I said about comfort music. Uh, my preferred my preferred music source today is still either my CDs or my vinyls. Sometimes I prefer the CDs, sometimes I prefer the vinyls. But the only format I'm buying now is vinyls. I probably have many hundred CDs and many hundred vinyls, quite a lot of cassettes. Okay. There was a time when I used to record cassettes. My uncle used to record cassettes for me, and that's what got me into recording. I've always had a state-of-the-art cassette deck. I would record, from various sources. Why vinyls? A, because it gives me an opportunity to own the music. I love the fact that I can say, like in school, I mean, like when I was in school, I was in La Martiniere in the 1980s. I was mid school, junior school, then going on to senior school. We'd have cassettes, right? And that's when Tarzan Boy came out. That's when Baltimore came out with Tarzan Boy, and I had heard it at one of my so we've been in a shipping business. So I had heard it on a German ship in Calcutta port, which my uncle took me to the ship. I was a kid. He took me there, and the captain was playing this. And I told the captain, that's a lovely piece of music. What is it? And he said, oh, there's American music. It's by a group called Baltimore. It's called Tarzan Boy. Like the thing goes, it's Tarzan singing. I said, oh, bloody hell, that's like pretty interesting. I said, do you have any more like this? He said, yeah. He had a duplicator. Okay, he had a Japanese duplicator. He duplicated 3-4 cassettes for me on the vessel. And I came back and I told my friends, I've got this. This is my music. Here we go. And there was rampage in the class. Let me borrow it. Let me borrow it. Let me borrow it. So we had this thing about exchanging cassettes, and we used to do that. So the same way today, like for example, let me show you this. This is the limited edition white album. You can see how thick it is. Okay, I can say I have it. It's not like my digital music. Like for example, this is the new Shakti album.
Yes.
I have it, and I put this on the other day, and I was hearing it. It can give any digital form a run for its money and probably beat it. Because if you play a good LP on a good sound system, nothing can beat the melody of that track, and the static that you hear adds to the music. It's part of the music. It's part of the package. It's part of the drama and the feeling of listening to an LP. When you see that thing going round and round and round in circles, that's a different feeling altogether. All you need is that, dim the light, sit down, watch it go round and round, and listen to the music coming out of it. That is sheer dream come true.
Perfect. So perfect, perfect. Thank you for, taking us down the memory lane. Also, since you spoke about, the vinyl spinning, having the correct equipment is very important when it comes to,
Yes.
listening to vinyl. So if you could just tell us or, walk us through your current setup, what the system that you're having to listen to the beautiful
So
pieces.
I have two setups. I have, by the grace of God, I've got two houses. So one is in Shantinikethan and one is in Calcutta. In Calcutta, I have a biggish living room. So my setup here is I have the Luxman L435 integrated amplifier. By the way, I'm only into stereo. I'm not into uh, home theater and stuff. Okay. So when I watch my Blu-rays, I have my Bose Companion sound system, which plays it, but that also is a 2.1. It is not, I'm not into home theater at all. I'm not into that. I'm into music. So I have my Luxman L435 vintage amplifier, which is 1980s vintage. I have the Accuphase DP55 CD player, which is 1990s vintage. I have the cornerstone of my music listening is my Sansui XR Q7 turntable, which is a state-of-the-art turntable. Actually, my equipment is, if I may say so, state-of-the-art. And that turntable is very early 1980s vintage. And you can see part of, okay, so this is an Altec Lansing carbon fiber series three-way speaker system. I have a pair of this, and as my speaker B, I have the Bose AM5, the acoustic mass 5s. So this is the setup I use here. The room has been set up by myself. I have used natural dampeners by way of paintings, curtains, sofas, carpets, and stuff like that. And it took me more than a couple of years to get the sound right, but I think I like what I hear now. And in the other house, I have there, I do not have, because we use it, as a weekend getaway most of the time. I do not have a turntable there. What I do have is my Luxman L2 amplifier and the Bose 901 speaker system. And I drive, I have a Tascam deck, cassette deck, and I have a Technics CD player. I also have a Bluetooth receptor for that. I take that receptor with me when I can just put on my phone on it and listen to music on my phone. I mean, from my phone onto the sound system there.
Yes, yes.
And so that's a no frills thing. But my heart is here, where I have this sound and this collection.
Absolutely. Perfect. So perfect. Now, you already showed us two of your favorite vinyls. I'm sure over the years you have collected some of the finest vinyl records that have been. So if you could just tell us a few about them and also take us through the memories.
Okay, so my worst habit when I travel is that I go with one suitcase and come back with two. When I travel, primarily when I travel abroad. And that is because I buy music, right? I mean, there was a time when my vinyl passion was latent for about 10-15 years. That's when I was not getting too many vinyls, right? So I used to focus mainly on CDs, traveling Far East or Europe or in the US. I pretty much hog the CD stores. Like in New York, there's a store called the Greenwich Music House. Um, I I pretty much the guys at the counter pretty much must have gone sick and tired of me, because I used to come back and ask them, every second day, like, has it come? Has it come? Have you got this? Because I was looking for a, let's say, particular CD, and ultimately the guy said, can you give us your address? We'll send it to you, which he did, by the way. It was a Rod Stewart CD which I was looking for. He did send it. So same way, in Europe, in London, like for example, the HMV store and so on. So what I would do is I'd go with one suitcase, come back with the second suitcase filled up with cassettes and CDs and LPs when I started picking up the LPs again. And some of the stuff I have are, see, my full collection is treasured. I will not let anybody touch it. Okay. But at the same time, there are stuff here which are okay. And there are stuff here which may not be new, which are like, my parents and my uncle's stuff, which I still have. Because, It's a myth when somebody says that, I'm giving away my record, and I'm like, I'm here, you give them to me. Like, you don't give away records, right? So that's something that I feel very strongly about. And so in my collection, I have the complete Beatles collection. I have the complete Simon Garfunkel collection. I have the complete Joan Baez collection. I have the complete Rolling Stones collection. I don't have Hackney Diamonds yet, but anything that came before that, I have them. I have the complete uh, Deutsche Grammophon release of Beethoven's symphonies 1 to 9, conducted by the Berliner Philharmonic, conducted by Herbert von Karajan. I have that complete thing on record. I have most of Tchaikovsky's works. I have Concert for Bangladesh on record, which um, is actually in a very bad shape. So I'm trying to get a new, or at least something which is used, but in a better condition, and I'm willing to pay for it. Uh, so that is there. I have the complete Billy Joel collection. I have the complete Barbara Streisand collection. I have the complete Shirley Bassey collection. I have the complete, when I say complete, I literally mean complete. Okay, all the albums, right?
Perfect.
No, and I have, okay, when I say complete, again, I do not have the new red and blue albums which have come out, the Beatles red and blue albums. I don't have the new ones yet, but I have the original red and blue albums. So this and most of these I have also on CD. Okay. And as far as Apple Music is concerned, if I could take my Apple Music collection in, then anything I don't have here on these mediums, I have on Apple Music.
So, sir, you just
So
said, you have the same on CDs and on the vinyls. So if you could just tell our viewers, the difference in the sound, when you're hearing the same piece on two devices, and how
okay,
vinyls actually are, much more supreme.
I will bring it down. I'm not a sound engineer, but I know how to listen and I love what I listen to. I will bring it down to a very basic analogy. Vinyl is like smooth butter. CD is crisp, but you need that butter to soften before you can spread it on your toast. I can listen to vinyl for the whole day, but I cannot listen to a digital source, even a CD, continuously. After upon a time, my ears feel fatigued. Okay. And this I'm being very, very sincere about. This is something I have noticed over the years, that there is something about listening to the music on vinyl that softens me up. And there is something about listening to music on CDs that kicks me right at the word go. But after a point of time, I have to code it down. I have to, let's say, go for a pause, maybe chill out for some time, doing something else, and then come back, to say that, here we are. Let's hear something else. So it's very rarely that I can binge listen on CDs, even less on my Apple Music. But very often I do that with LPs. And sometimes, like, I'm not sure if I should say this, but we're on a podcast. I'm sure I can express myself. Let's say I come back home late night and I still feel like, staying up a little more. And I pour myself another tall one and take my LPs out, listen, and I can go on reminiscing. It can. Oh, by the way, another very precious record that I have among. I mean, I can go on all evening with this, but another very precious record I have is Mary Hopkins' original album called "Those Were the Days," and that is a 1969 LP that I have. That's
I can
probably one of the oldest LPs that I have. And I have the same thing also on, you know, on CD. But that song is very precious to me. And I don't know if too many people know it or how many people know it, but that song was actually produced by Paul McCartney.
guys.
And Mary Hopkins sang that. Those were the days. Is one of the most haunting songs that uh, even today I can cry to. You know, so that's and there are lots. You cannot go wrong with an LP. You cannot go wrong.
Perfect. So perfect. Now, my one of my last two questions is that you live in Calcutta, and Calcutta happens to be one of the hubs of vinyl music. And we have been very lucky that from the time that we have started, Nilanjan Bhattacharya is one name that keeps coming up on the order list. So, if you could just tell our viewers what makes you come back to Calcutta Records and what you love the most about us.
See, what I love about Calcutta Records is the spread of music that you offer. Okay. So I went on talking about Western music all this while, but remember the first 3 or 4 records that I bought from you were Bengali music records. Again, here comes my memories. You know, as a child, তখন পুজোর মধ্যে, if I can go back to go speak in Bangla for a second, পুজোতে পুজোর গান বেরোতো. And you know, the puja music used to come out.
Yes.
And we used to have um, all kinds of new hits coming out during the pujas. Manna De, Hemonto, Aruti Mukherjee used to be constant. Shamur Mitro used to be constant names during that time. They used to be continually flooding your eardrums with beautiful music that used to come out during the puja throughout the year. And it has always been uh, so I have always wanted to pick records which I know. Again, I'm talking about a certain tragedy. It's a record which I know we had at some point of time, but we don't, I don't see it anymore. Either somebody's whacked it or it's, you know, it's lying somewhere. I don't know where it is. So I have these images in my head that, you know, this was a record that we had. I would like to have that record. And when I saw the same records featuring in your list, I made a headway for it straight away. I mean, I just jumped to it. And you see, records are not cheap. We know that. But what is even much more valuable than the price I'm paying for the record is what it offers back to me. It's giving me a slice of my childhood. It is giving me a slice of my passion. And it is feeding me the interest to get deeper and deeper into my passion. That means a lot to me. Music is not some sound which comes from the back of your car, or it's not something that plays at the back of your head while you're doing something else. Music has never been that for me. If I'm at a meeting or if I'm at, let's say, a hotel lobby and there's music, and if it is normally hotel lobbies don't play much sensible music. They have, you know, it's I don't want to run anyone down, but it's normally very stereotyped instrumentals that they play. But if, let's say, I'm passing a shop or I'm passing somebody's house and there is, let's say, a good piece of music that's playing, I always, you know, kind of float away, you know, and somebody who's talking to me is like, you know, are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? I'm like, hold on a sec. That person is playing so and so track from so and so album. Uh, you know, so that is what music for me is all about. It is a passion. It is not something I can, you know, just wave by. I can never do that. Can never do that.
Perfect. So, and coming to my last question is that in this age where the younger generation, they can just simply click on a couple of buttons and they can listen to music. why would you recommend them and tell them to go back and listen to something as precious as vinyl records?
Okay, so this is subjective for the simple reason that, I mean, sadly, I don't see music being as much a passion for the kids today. If I can say kids, I mean anybody who's, less than 25 to be a kid to me. And I am sadly not finding that, that craze for music anymore among children, or at least not the kind of music that uh, you would use to do justice to the sound system that you have in the house. Not the kind of music that you do justice to listen to and let your brain uh, process the music that you're listening to. It's very important. You don't listen only with your ears. You listen with your brain, you listen with your heart, you listen through your skin. That is why a good sound is important. So I mean, it's like you can't listen to Queen singing Radio Gaga on a mobile phone without proper headphones. You don't get nothing, no fidelity. And music without a proper fidelity is not really music. It's it's workable, it's doable, and everything else, but it is not really music. And uh, you don't own it. If you have something on a digital format, there are millions and millions of people who have the same thing. You can't say you own it. You can't say it is yours. You can't wave it, like a flag and say, I belong here. You cannot do that. I can. Be it with a CD, be it with an LP, be it with a cassette. These are tangible memories which you will carry with you for the rest of your life, for your next generation to enjoy them while you're gone. A file can just go. It can get corrupt. It can go. It will stay locked in your phone unless somebody is able to, hack in your phone and take it out. Nobody's gonna know it. Nobody's gonna pick a pen drive and say, "Oh, it belongs to Joy," but they will see my record and say, "Oh shit, it belongs to Joy. Don't touch it." You know. So that's what I mean.
Absolutely.
It purely comes from the passion. It purely comes from the passion. I
Perfect.
may differ others, but music is passion. That is why music is an elixir of life. You can't go wrong. It's like the poster behind you, Pother Panchali. What
Yes.
made Pother Panchali? Pother Panchali is not just the story, but the music behind it. You know, the music behind it. When uh, Opu's father comes back and his wife is not able to express herself to let him know that Opu has passed away. You don't hear words. You hear the music in
Absolutely.
that scene that drives you to tears, and you cannot but not cry listening to that wailing music on the screen. That is what gave it the uh, if I may say, the pain.
Absolutely.
Music can give you joy, music can give you pain. Nothing like listening to a Shehnai in a wedding. You know, you can't have Lucky Ali songs playing at a wedding and feel like melancholic about it. You can't. You listen to Shehnai, you know that tomorrow this kid is going to go away to her husband's house, right? It's a Shehnai that drives you, and that is where the passion is all about.
Thank
You
you.
know that
Thank you.
that's
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views and for your time. We couldn't be more honored to have you on our second podcast. And we wish you a very Merry Christmas and have a great year ahead. And do keep ordering from Calcutta Records Company. Thank you so
I
much.
will, I will, and I want to show you something. Just one more thing, by the way. I don't know how many people have seen this record. It's a record called "Oldies but Goldies" by the Beatles. Does it have the year? It doesn't have the year here, but 1969, right there. You can't see it because of the light. It's oldies here. At the back, you have but goldies, and that's the Fab Four. That is in my collection too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your collection and your views. Thank you so much, sir. And as I said, do keep ordering and be as passionate as you are. And, just
Thank you
keep motivating the generation to come back to music. Thank you so much, sir.
so much. Thank you.
Thank Well, that was Nilanjan Bhattacharya. And as he said, owning a piece of vinyl record is about ownership. It's about pride. It's not just about digital music. It's not about a playlist which you can share online, you can share digitally, but it's about having that particular piece of record over the course of years and, showing it off and holding it very, very close to your heart. Well, that was episode 2 of the CRC podcast. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we here made it fun. And till then, till the episode 3, thank you so much and a very, very Merry Christmas.